I must, even though she's a stupid cow. No, oh no, I had those bad thoughts again. No. You cry. I've heard that she does, though. She employs a whole bunch of fags. Okay. Yeah, anyhow, should we, how can I,
Yeah,
get on?
This is Dustin from Connecticut, and I didn't want to interrupt you there. You seem like you're on a roll. What's going on?
Oh, cool. Was there any reason for calling, or you just went in, or?
Yeah, I was called a round table, see what's up. I don't know. I don't know what you guys were talking about today. I stepped out for a couple minutes. My mother told me you guys called the phone, so see what's going on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Justin, I know you're always on the round table, so I figured I would. You've earned the stripes to come on one of the earlier shows, so I figured I'd throw you in. So.
Oh no, good looks, Rev J. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, this is the new Maggot show, so I think it's one of the funniest shows on. So.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I know.
So what are we talking about today?
We are recording it, aren't we? You have got a recording going, because I can't get Vimotion to say it's recording it.
We'll work, Maggot, we're working on the recording. Liddy Bruce was the one that did all the recording. So when he left, we're working on it. It'll be a day or so before we get it up and running perfect, but we'll have
okay. Yeah. I prefer it being recorded, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, what I was doing is like, it's my first show, well, pretty much the second show, but just basically I was just going through the news articles and like going off massive tangents and seeing how long I keep together before it goes to pieces. No, it's all fun. Yeah, I was just reading out an article on David Cameron's Afghanistan attack base has been revealed, and so David Cameron's the UK Prime Minister, and I was saying it's saying I got to the bit where it says a Taliban spokesman. I was just saying like the Taliban had actually told the BBC that they were launching attacks, and it was like quite nice of them. And I was suggesting that it was possibly related.
They call up the American news and tell them that they're going to attack. That makes a lot of sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was it. And I was just like saying about the recent murder of the GCHQ MI6 person.
Who is that? I didn't hear about
that. Somebody called Gareth Williams.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did hear that. Okay.
Yeah. Tim Reef got the name wrong. Oh no, he's discredited. He said to somebody else. It was 6 a.m. That's no excuse to him. In fact, I mean, you are the most intelligent man on the planet. He says it himself. Yeah. So just carry on with the article. I've just like tabbed off of the page. Okay. David Cameron's plans were changed at the last minute when intercepts of Taliban radio messages showed that they knew which helicopter he was flying in. So the one with this David Cameron's helicopter on the side. Downing Street said it did not comment on the Prime Minister's security plans. Number 10 is reported to be rethinking scheduling and media plans for future visits to take the risks into account. BBC World Affairs correspondent David Loyne said any claims from the Taliban had to be treated with extreme scepticism, especially coming 2 months after the diversion of the Prime Minister's flight. But when contacted by the BBC, the Taliban spokesman Qari Youssef Ahmadi I'm not sure what Qari is. So I know Youssef is supposed to be the serf or servant of Jesus, and Ahmadi is in the clothing, most expensive clothing you can get, like suits, or is it Armani? Whatever. That's what it made me laugh anyway. I added one piece of information to what was already known: the location of the team planning to shoot the helicopter down. Yes, they were cleverly concealed around the helicopter landing pad, right on the concrete. He said that the Taliban attack was to be launched from their base at Washir in the northwest of the main conflict zone in Helmand. He would not reveal the source of the Taliban's information about the flight, nor the weapons they were planning to use. Mr. Cameron's location was known because, unusually, he had visited Kabul first, holding a media conference with Afghanistan's President Hamid Karzai before going on to Helmand. He was forced to abandon a visit to British troops serving at the front-line patrol base at Shahzad because of the fears of a Taliban attack. The RAF Chinook, carrying the Prime Minister and his entourage, was instead diverted to the main operating base in the capital of Helmand, Lashkar Gah, at the last minute. a former British commander in Afghanistan, Colonel Richard Kemp, told the Today programme on BBC Radio 4, "We sometimes underestimate the Taliban's sophistication and intelligence collection capability even, and they are very, very good at it." The Taliban had sources in many places, he said, including within the Afghan security forces and even in military bases. But Colonel Kemp said it was important that people in Britain and Afghanistan were able to see the commitment of the Prime Minister, adding, adding, "You can't hide behind security to the exclusion of all else. He has to be out and about, he has to be seen." He suggested more attention, though, to be given to the planning of future visits, with press conferences coming at the end of trips so as to minimise the amount of time available to the Taliban or plan any attack. He said, "It's very important that we don't lose the Prime Minister." Genius. Yes. Yeah, they might notice the trick when you replace him with like a black dwarf or something, mightn't they? Yeah. The massive victory that we had to the Taliban by shooting his helicopter down, or even a near miss, would be very significant. Wonderful. They're geniuses. BBC correspondent Carol Walker said, "There's no actual comment from Downing Street, but it's clear that they are taking security warning seriously and rethinking the scheduling and media arrangements for future visits to take far greater account of the risks involved." I think I fooled some GHQ staff into thinking that was the Queen as well now. Earlier this year, police concerns about Mr Cameron's security were reported all over the Prime Minister's insistence on walking around Whitehall in his underpants and refusing motorcycle escorts. In the past, I've made up that bit. In the past, visits to war zones by senior politicians and officials have often been subject to news blackouts until nearer the end of the trip, as was the case with the recent journey by Defence Secretary Liam Fox. Okay. Well, I've done a couple of articles. Has anybody got anything like breaking news? Anything really exciting?
I just read the funny. No, it's not funny, but it's actually from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
There's a couple in Saudi Arabia tortured their Sri Lankan maid after she complained of a too heavy workload. So they put 24 nails in her hands, legs, and forehead. Right? And she carried on working, but then she left to Saudi Arabia, and her family only realized that after what had happened when she.
You cut off. Oh, it's annoying. Post link.
So they took her to the. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you broke up. It was you saying that.
Yeah. Anyway, she went back to Sri. She went back to Sri Lanka, and then she complained about the pain, and the family took her to the doctors, and X-ray shows that she had 24 nails.
How did nobody see nails from the outside? I don't understand that. What do you mean they hammered nails into her, and they only found out
40. And it says here, has been taken to the hospital for surgery to remove the nails, which according to the maid were hammered in when they were really hot. So I don't know. But you can see the x-rays and that, so. I know. I thought that.
No, that's crazy. Regardless, it's nuts.
The bit is that she walked around, and as if there's nothing wrong. Why did she decide to try and take them out herself? I suppose they're in too deep or something.
Well, that's what I mean. There's no, you know what I mean? They did it under the skin or whatever. I don't understand that. You couldn't see them. Why not?
What sort of like nails were they? Were like carpet nails or like carpentry nails?
That's what I'm imagining. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe a small little. I don't know. That's pretty.
Like tacks, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty gruesome. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay, dead air.
Oh, no, yeah, it's alright. I know, I've got a slow internet connection today.
Hey guys,
MI6 officers.
Quick before you get into that next article, I just want to let everybody know we are doing the Inform Press soon. So if you guys, anybody wants to get out and do some reporting, some photojournalism, ambush journalism, you want to get out and ask the serious question. This is the election time, guys. You need to be out quoting everything that anybody that is running for anything. They got a lot of puppets running locally. A lot of puppets. I got a lot of them here locally, and I'm getting my pass, and I'm going out and asking some questions. This is the time to do it. So, guys, seriously, get with me. Give me an email. Hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll shoot you one.
Seriously, because I'm tracking it down now. I'm trying to find the best place to get them done, the fastest place to get them done, actually. And it's looking like it might be $22 a piece we have to pay. But it'd be well worth it. It'll be on timely, and right. It'll be like a couple days too. So, but just hit me up, get a hold of me. We should know for sure in the next by Monday. I'll know for sure when I'm going to be getting them. I'll be getting them the following week on Monday. So, and I'll let you know exactly how much it's going to be, and everything that you got to have to do it. So, just hit me up. All right, guys.
Okay, cool. Oh, no. Mozilla crashed. Give me a second. Just I have to restart my browser. Okay. Okay, this is the MI6 guy. The MI6 guy. MI6 guy. Because I'm not sure how much of the story you heard, but yeah, it was GCHQ, which is all right to talk about, and then it turned out he seconded in MI6, which is like not generally talked about in public. You don't actually say MI6 agent was murdered, because that's the sort of like stuff conspiracy stuff. They wouldn't announce it on the news. But I think they sort of like made the media made a cock up really by announcing it, and then later on finding out MI6. It's the sort of thing that would like happen in a Sherlock Holmes storyline. Is Sherlock Holmes would investigate it and then find out MI6 agent, and then Dr. Watson would go and he'd be like talk to his friends in the dining lounge or whatever. But he was actually MI6 agent. He's like, oh no, what a cock up. So I don't think anybody was supposed to find out that he was actually an MI6 agent, because I mean it was just ridiculous. So agent, and you get murdered, and the moment you get murdered, it's like news. I mean, Oh, and what did he actually do with this top secret work? No, it's just ridiculous. So I think it was a bit of a cock up, but it kind of perhaps it's just a sign of how things are.
Hey, Maggot, how do you feel about that whole David Shaler incident? The whole he was what do you call it? MI6, I believe, and what do you call it? He was a whistleblower or whatever, and then he started, saying he was Jesus Christ himself or whatever. What do you think? They got to trusted him? What? Yeah, you think that's what that was?
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
They screwed his brain up. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Hey, real quick, let me answer that. I've seen a lot of this happening here soon, or lately rather. Everybody knows Jade that was on here, right? Remember Jade, the guy that thinks he's John the Baptist?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. All
okay. Right. There's something going on that there's somebody there. I guess they're touching on something. It happened with David Icke too. David Icke thought he was God. It's something that people have stumbled on. I think I've stumbled on it before. I don't think I thought I was God. But I did feel special, and it is something that you stumble on, and I think that's what they're doing.
I've heard actually people I know have actually I've heard people actually trying to tell people that they are this person, for example, they're Archangel Michael or something like that, trying to turn people out. And girls and whatnot. Like,
well, see, the thing, what I think it is all these roles, all the roles from the past, since history does repeat itself, all these roles get to be played again. And certain people are playing those roles again. They're playing the same roles out. It's not necessarily that they're the same people, but history repeats itself, and it's that the same roles are being played out.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I think.
It's funny. It's funny how like modern history, modern today, is sort of like recreating events in the Bible. And I know people have said, "Oh, it's a new world order. They're doing it deliberately." But you've got like the place called the Tower of Babel, which is in London. You've got your American Empire is basically your Holy Roman Empire. Don't know if you knew that, but it's true. And everybody's waiting the second coming of Jesus. It's just like there's loads of other similarities, but it's all a bit like creepy and freaky. And it's all almost like basically parts of the Bible and other religious books are like almost like a walk.
You almost wonder sometimes if they're doing it. Sorry to cut you off, but just doing it to make you think that the Bible is coming true. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Well, regardless how the Bible, how the prophecy plays out, it still plays out. Regardless of that, God said it would happen. Say how it would happen. He didn't say who would do it. I can agree with because I actually I feel like I'm in the role. My name is Jeremiah. I had some stuff happen when I was a kid, and God said that my name would come to play, and it'd be really important. I didn't understand until I actually started thinking about it and read the book of Jeremiah, and Jeremiah was the first time that they fought the New World Order.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the role I play now. I'm not fighting the New World Order. I'm here to let them know that Babylon, God's going to send Babylon from, and they're going to be wiped out if they don't repent. So they're just going to get wiped out. It's not me doing it. I'm just letting them know it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think it's like they set up people as like pieces on a chessboard and sort of like see how they'll go with that role. Like some person plays the role of knight, other people play the roles of pawns. But I don't think they can predict exactly the outcome in every situation. I think they do use these books as like sort of like if you're stuck in a computer game, you look in the walkthrough and look for the solution. They do that to like put in like little landmarks. So they're expecting to have, say, like America was going to have a war on Iraq. It was always going to happen, sort of thing. We're always going to have a First and Second World War, which is really just like one extended war, really, and so on and so forth. But the minutiae, the small details, they can't actually control, because they'd have to like sort of physically surround so many people that are actually players in this game. It would just fall apart. So they obviously have to concentrate on other things as well. Oh, and cock up is an English phrase. It just means like doing something private in public, an embarrassing private mistake done in public. It'd be like something like going outside without wearing any pants, or just like no underclothes at all. I don't know, or having sex in the car and like the windows open, everybody saw and you didn't realise. It's really stupid, but it's like
sex
really
in the car with
mistake.
the windows open, sir. You fucking lying
I don't know.
bastard.
I heard about
it. What are you doing in England? Holy shit. Now I know why you don't have any guns. Because you're too busy having sex in cars to even worry about getting them.
I don't know. It's something embarrassing, and it's sort of like related to sex as well. It's just like a cock up is something. You really shouldn't have seen that sort of thing. That's what they call it, a cock up. That's what it means. A cock up means like getting an erection in public. As if it's undone.
Is that a real weird?
Yeah,
is that a real word? The word cock a word?
Yeah, that's what actually cock up means. It means having an erection with like your zipper undone in public. So it's like
I fucking love
it. That's why
you guys are hilarious. Good.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The piss is another good one too.
Fun fact.
That's it. Yeah. There's taking the piss and getting pissed. Well, getting pissed is drinking booze, and taking the piss means taking the mickey out of somebody. But yeah, I mean, taking the piss often happens more when you're drunk.
We have weird ways of talking.
Getting pissed drunk. Good. Sorry.
No, you know what? Let me go ahead and say this here. That is weird. Really is, sir. That's not what taking a piss and being pissed means. I'm going to take up. No, I'm taking up for the American side here. There's been too many times that I'm pissed at something, and it's not that. No, that's not the case. So I'm just putting it out. Rev J out.
But they got a whole different language than we do. That's the whole thing. It's it's funny. Some of some of the slang shit that we say, they probably laugh at too.
Well, then why is it called? Why is our language called English then? Shouldn't it be called American-ish?
Yeah, I think it should be
American-ish. Yeah.
I think it should. I think it should be a branch of English. I mean, obviously, we could understand English people most of the time. If they start talking a little fast, I don't understand them. But
French and Krill are the same thing, sort of. But they're two different languages.
Right.
You know, French being like the gay language, and Krill being a little shrimp.
You talking about Creole?
Yeah, the fish.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Listen, if it sounds the same, I'm going to go ahead and lump them together. You know, sue me if I'm wrong. It goes with being an American. I make my own words up. I take things from these little pyramid. I'm taking their pyramid and turning it into something else. And their all-seeing eye thing is being turned and for another whole meaning. They're not even going to want it. The all-seeing eye means that you have sex with goats. If you promote that, then you have sex with goats. So, that's start asking them, be like, oh, and having sex with goats, Mr. Jay-Z. Why? I bet he'll change up real quick. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. All right, I'm out again. I'm trying to get I'm trying to find out where to get the press pass at. I think I found a good spot to do it. So hopefully.
Yeah, Lenny Bruce is saying cock up means false evidence that it's invented and not found. Yeah, or maybe in posh world, I said maybe in intelligence, but it really means making a stupid mistake in public. It's like you've been framed as candid camera and all that sort of thing, and most of those things are examples of cock ups.
Now I was wondering now too, like for example, now you're talking about that as they do it like in a ritual thing, like where a Mason would have to incriminate himself to get to the 33rd degree or whatever. Like
no, that's I think that's not the 33rd degree that he didn't. I think he has to incriminate himself. I think 14th or 15th.
Okay, that's where that starts.
Yeah, it's you way lower in the levels. You got to make yourself look like a bitch or something, and some people.
Okay.
By 32, you're doing something to hurt somebody, and then when you get to 30, really bad.
Right,
really
it's
bad.
like the mob. Like you whack somebody. By the time you're 33, you're down. You whack somebody. You've drawn blood. You've fucking probably eaten babies or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have to kill somebody to get high enough? Or is it higher up, or
I imagine, except for people like, Ronald Reagan supposedly just got his handed to him at an Air Force base, but for the most part,
Jack the Ripper was a Freemason.
So
he got up on his levels.
Ted Bundy's family is one of 13 Illuminati families. You could trace his lineage back. Most of the serial killers are.
You know what? That's funny because they all come from like inbred. Stuff like that.
Right.
It probably messes up the kids after a while.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah. And not to mention the ritual abuse that probably goes on in their homes or whatever, or if they have an altar or whatever, altar personality. If they don't, just the kid is fucked up from seeing Baphomet's hanging, whatever, being told it's good. I don't know. Just I didn't grow up as that type of shit, but I don't know. I'm just. It's set out. It's you know what it is? It's why some people can't imagine it because some just did not grow up in evil, and that we not see that because they could not imagine U.S. killing, or a CIA doing that. That's the thing is they cannot fathom that happening. That's the problem with the sheep today. But that's my piece. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start on this. Murder Spy's family deeply upset about private life. Cousins say family in state of shock as report says Gareth Williams was regular visitor to Pentagon living post. The murder of a British spy said today they were deeply upset over claims about his private life and suggested the security services may be behind a spin. Gareth Williams' body was discovered in a hold-all in the bath of a flat in Pimlico, central London on Monday. Police believe he may have been dead for 2 weeks. Williams, 30, worked at GCHQ, the Eves Treaty Centre. GCHQ stands for Government Communications Headquarters. So it's quite a big thing. Was aides a year-long second at MI6, and it has emerged whilst a regular visitor to the US National Security Agency that intercepts and analyses foreign communications. However, reports that police had found evidence linking him to a male escort and that bondage equipment was found at his flat were challenged by his family. In state of shock, as report says, Gareth Williams was a regular visitor to Pentagon living post. The murder of a British spy said today they were deeply upset over claims about his private life and suggested the security services may be behind a spin. Gareth Williams' body was discovered in a hold-all in the bath of a flat in Pimlico, central London on Monday. Police believe he may have been dead for 2 weeks. Williams, 30, worked at GCHQ, the Eves Training Centre. GCHQ stands for Government Communications Headquarters. So it's quite a big thing. Was days compared a year-long second at MI6, and it has emerged whilst a regular visitor to the US National Security Agency that intercepts and analyses foreign communications. However, reports that police had found evidence linking him to a male escort and that bondage equipment was found at his flat were challenged by his family. William Hughes, 62, played Kim Simru, councillor on the Isle of Anglesey County Council, and a cousin of William's mother, Ellen, said there was no evidence the allegations were correct. If he was, I was involved in it. He said, I don't see any evidence. It never crossed my mind that Gareth was that sort of person. He left house at a young age, and what happened in his private life was his business. When you have these rumours in the papers, it is most distressing. It is heartbreaking that he has died so young and his family have enough without having to these stories. Gareth's parents are not doing it at all. They are in a state of shock and struggling to come to terms with what has happened. They have seen what has been in the papers and they are very, very upset about these untruths. Blaming the United Nations, possibly. I don't know. Hughes said it was the government or another agency may be trying to discredit Williams. Oh, shocking! Isn't that a standard tactic? I think MI6 be like, we are proud to have this spy die a few days before he finishes his assignment with us. You know, they're going to like say, oh, yeah. They're going to start saying it. Yeah.
Pretending he's a hero after they killed him.
Well, that's it. He was a few days before he finished his assignment or whatever, his job, basically. Whatever a secret function he done, or, you know, even if he wasn't doing that much, which is quite unlikely. Who had been due to return to a rented flat in Cheltenham, where GCHQ is based. It's also the town I live in. The Daily Mail reported that Williams flew to the NSA, the Pentagon's listening post, up to 4 times a year. He reported from his last trip a few weeks before he was found dead. The paper said US intelligence officers were poring over Williams' work and personal circumstances of his death in national security. You know, it's like he was doing stuff in MI6 that they were worried he would grass up when he went back to GCHQ, and so they bumped him off before he completed his tenureship or whatever it is, his 1-year assignment with MI6, so he wouldn't be able to do that. It's possible. A few days before, it's quite convenient, because if he just like, somebody just like, you know, just like shot him as a hit job or whatever, it's quite convenient timing to wait until his assignment's finished and then shoot him. Tests are being carried out to determine whether he was asphyxiated and whether drugs or alcohol were in his system. The tests are expected to take weeks, they always do. Williams left school at 15, got a first-class degree in maths at 17, and a PhD at Manchester University. His former maths teacher, Geraint Williams, said, "He was the best logician and the pupil with the fastest brain I have ever met. You only had to say things once. That's why he was so successful." You see, they're just like upping the genius factor on him, and he's like failed loads of things, and he failed this and failed that, and then he got a job at GCHQ, so GCHQ seemed to employ all the failures. Investigators suspect Williams may have known his killer, as there was no sign of forced entry at his top floor flat. Police have begun examining his mobile phone and financial, as well as CCTV cameras from streets and businesses surrounding his home. His flat has been subject of a fingertip search amid fears that top-secret work material could have gone missing. Yeah, possible. Officers broke down the door of his flat on Monday afternoon when attempts by government officials to locate him, landlady, failed. It's most likely that you'd back any material he was using by that time. It's only a few days, you know, after a year. You know, just mainly be like a debriefing sessions and winding down. So yeah, that's the end of the article. It's quite interesting the way it's sort of developing. I think we're 3 minutes to. It's about the end, isn't it? It's the end. Cool. We haven't got any outro music, have we? Or anything like that. I don't want to start doing an article and then get cut off because it's the end of the show.
Well, we're waiting on Crow, too. Crow might not be able to do her show today. She's probably going to call in.
Okay.
So if y'all want to stick around, I'll when I play your song out, just stick around when I go to Crow's show. I don't know if Crow's going to be on or not. She might have to have you fill in or something. So.
Okay.
Alrighty.
That's fine.
You got 1 minute, so go ahead and do your little speech out thingy.
Oh, I haven't prepared one. This has been like the most amazing show of all time with me, Maggot, doing the Maggot show. And on this show we had Braveheart talking. Ziggy was on earlier and she got cut off a bit. And Informed Radio is called Reverend or something. So, I wonder if it's Reverend Jack from the V series. I think that's about it, really. That's all the people we had. That's the end of my message.
Probably shook KD, but they gonna blame me and call me crazy and call me paranoid, cause I'm the kind of boy that is waiting for the day that they make their move. If you keep your mind fed, you got nothing to lose, because everything you've ever been told was a lie. TV programs be controlling your mind. Just open your eyes, I don't need no proof. What I say in the booth is the one real truth. What if everything you've ever been told was a lie? TV programs be controlling your mind. Just open your eyes, I don't need no proof. What I say in the booth is the one real truth.
All right, this is the Crow Show. Waiting on Crow to call in. If Crow cannot make it, I will have Justin, Becker, Maggot, and Ziggy. That guy, what's his name? Something to do with the fly or something? I don't know. Ziggy and Truth War.
I'm here now. Sorry, I don't know what...
There you are. All right, Maggot, you there? All right, waiting on Crow. Hopefully we get her in here in a second. We lost Zig again.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, Ziggy. Trying to get Crow in right now. All right, Maggot, you there? Did Maggot ever make it back or no? No. All right. Well, Ziggy, fill in for Crow. There he is. There's Maggot. We'll get Maggot on. I guess y'all can fill until Crow gets here, if Crow even shows up. So. All right, Maggot. You guys are filling in for Crow, so have fun.
Okay. Who's playing host today on this show? Not me. I'm late.
Yes, you are, sir.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Okay, so it's going to be like probably I'll just carry on as before. Just give me a minute because the internet's been a bit slow today. Spirit of compassion. I'm going to read one of my own blogs. Yes. I have to navigate my thing. Navigate my thing. Okay, just to sort of explain where I got that idea from earlier of the 15 parts thing. Hang on for a minute, then it got up. Okay. Okay. I'll just read it as it says. I just thought I'd mention this. Don't you think the Osiris story is a bit daft? After Osiris's penis gets chopped off anyhow. Okay, it gets eaten by a fish called Wanda, as in the movie by John Cleese. Have you seen the size of a fish's anus? Oh, and the fish swallowed it whole. Must have been a huge fish. Even so, this digested penis is recovered, and this is explained somehow by the fish hat that certain religious people wear. It's called the Dagon hat. The Pope wears one. Also, the fish called Wonder underwater chase sequence was included in the movie Lord of the Rings. They did. They put in a tiny thing. It was like when he searches for the rings, this stupid chase sequence, which wasn't in the book as far as I recall. They just installed it, and it's basically searching for the missing part of Osiris, his willy, whatever. They'd fallen into the thing. That's sort of what the ring was about. The Lord of the Rings story was about, was recovering what was lost. And the other obvious sort of one is Aragorn's sword. He had a broken willy, and he had it fixed. It's the sword that was broken. It gets repaired. Nobody can decide how many pieces Osiris was chopped into. It seems to change according to how many books have been written by the supposedly deceased L. Frank Baum, who wrote the Wizard of Oz books. Currently, there are 15 books. Previously, and for many years, this still dead person wrote 14. This extra book turned up and is included without any notes. Osiris's penis was supposedly 14 inches long and 8 inches thick. No, I have to explain where I got that research from. That's Rasputin. Because when Rasputin, he was the Russian dictator, whatever, well, one of the Russian dictators, he was supposedly really good as a ruler and stuff, but he got killed off by the envious Russian royal family, and one of the people they killed is Anastasia. I haven't got too much of the details on it, but when he died, they chopped his willy off and embalmed it basically, and that's apparently the measurements of it. So it's Wizard of Oz. It's all a bit rude, but apparently that's all Masonic details and stuff. That's all they're interested in, those sorts of rude things. But now, thanks to porn, this isn't the hugest cock ever. So the dead L. Frank Baum has been writing books to catch up. Yes, this dead man's been writing books to catch up. This dead man has a lot of writing left to do. Longest recorded human penile length is over 2 meters. That's Zulu's. There is a reason for all this being rude, just like a silly joke at the end. That's roughly 111 inches, I guess, or 111 books. Okay, and the Saturn V rocket, which is the largest rocket missile ever launched, is 111 meters tall. Keep on writing those remaining 96 books, dead writer, because he's 96 books short. Oh, and by the way, each book has now got to be over 8 inches thick with a page width and height of 8 inches and a font size of 8 in order to support ye olde cock and bull story. There you go. Just checking out what's in the chat room. I think everybody died of shock. I mean, if you've got MySpace, I'll post a link to it directly. If you haven't, then I'll copy the text. Okay. And now we go back to the news by the looks of it. I'll just read this article actually. Oh, Webster Tarpley's done an article. China buys euros as fear of world depression grows. Webster G. Tarpley. The US Treasury has just announced that China's official holdings of US Treasury securities climbed by about $30 billion between April and May of this year, from about $900 billion to some $868 billion. According to the US authorities, this means that Chinese holdings of US government paper are now at the lowest level in the past year. A 2% to 3% decline in a month does not qualify as massive dumping, but simply means that China is in the process of diversification. It is also very clear that China had more US Treasury bonds than this official count would indicate, quite possibly through proxy purchases via Hong Kong and other places. With the sales of existing homes in the United States falling by 27% this morning, together with disastrous statistics regarding unemployment and foreclosures, it ought obvious that the US economy is in depression. Even experts interviewed on CNBC are beginning to wake up to this obvious fact. World bond bubble. James Bond's bubble of the world or something. It's strange. On August 24th, the Treasury's 2-year note reached its highest price in recorded history, meaning yield was at a record low. The entire world is piling into short-term US Treasury paper, and many buyers cannot get enough. This makes a mockery out of the right-wing reactionary refrain that the US equals Greece, and soon will be unable to borrow. If, according to the crackpot Austrian theory, markets know things that individual humans cannot know, I don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about macro networking or something. Wait a minute. Then surely the market is signalling a great desire for and Treasury notes at the short end. The main reason for this demand is, of course, fear and panic coming from the growing awareness that the world is indeed experiencing the second wave of a world economic depression of colossal proportions. There is now a large-scale international bond bubble, involving, amongst others, US Treasuries and German bunds. It says bunds there. Since the flash crash of May 6, let's post a link to the article. Many investors have fled the stock markets entirely. It is still too soon to sound the alarm on deflation ahead, but deflation has now appeared over the horizon as a concrete possibility. Partly because so many financial players are now convinced that deflation is the wave of the future. If this were to come about, it would mean a depression looking much more like 1929 to 1933 than the relatively more mild situation we have experienced over the last 2 years. I mean, in a way, yeah, it'd be quite an interesting depression as well, because you have, totally unlike in the past, you have like loads and loads of people with like loads of electronic junk, and they won't be able to sell it. So, I mean, you have like all these people just living on the streets and whatever, but they've got like 50-inch TVs. It'd be quite surreal. The depression may be taking a turn towards something far more excruciating for the masses of the population. One byproduct of that would be vastly decreased popular gullibility for the anti-government recipes of the libertarian Austrian school, which are tailored for those who have money, and which have very little appeal to people who are unemployed, homeless, and starving. I don't know, is that a new one, everything come from Austria? Because, of course, Hitler was an Austrian. It's quite interesting that they're trying, the Austrian is so important to economics. Austrian, economics, strange. Also, in August 24th, the Japanese yen hit a 15-year high compared to the dollar, and a 9-year high compared to the euro. This kind of currency championship is a Pyrrhic victory which nobody wants, since it means the Japanese exports are in the process of being strangled. This is true currency chaos and world depression at the same time, pointing once again towards the urgent need to restore the fixed rate system of Bretton Woods, which was destroyed 39 years ago this month by Nixon and Kissinger, and urged on by Milton Friedman and other snake oil economists. For the past year, the main thrust of the London and New York financial centres has been the effort to export the depression into Europe by a manipulative attack on the government bonds of Greece, Spain, Portugal and some other countries, all designed to provoke a panic flight out the euro, which would in turn allow the Anglo-Americans to loot and asset strip the accumulated wealth of the old continent. This was not a market event, but an orchestrated strategic attack inspired by such figures as Soros, Einhorn and Paulson. During July and the first half of August, it became apparent. Now, this blitzkrieg was originally planned, as originally planned, had failed to reach its objectives, but the Anglo-Americans, one-trick ponies as always, may be persisting in the assault. China blocks US-UK attack on Euro. The Anglo-American hedge fund attack, as we have documented here, employed credit default swaps as a primary weapon against Greek, Portuguese and Spanish government bonds. The failure of London and New York to induce a panic flight out of the euro during the May-June timeframe was partly results of the German self-defense measures, involving bans on naked credit default swaps and bans on naked shorting of German equities. In addition to this, Chinese support for the euros played a decisive role. There is every indication that the Chinese made a decision not to allow the destruction of the euro during the late spring and early summer. That decision was technical, commercial and political at the same time. The technical part was that China is grammatical errors. These people ever bother learning anything at school anymore? Sought to rebalance the basket of currencies uses to maintain the international stability of the renminbi. Okay, renminbi. As the euro looms larger in Chinese trade, purchases of euros and euro bonds are in order. It is also worth pointing out that the Chinese have not delivered on their promise to radically raise the international value of the renminbi, as hysterically demanded by Tiny Tim Geithner and others. This is his real name. The commercial and political sides of Chinese support for the euro were reflected in the June visit of the Chinese Vice Prime Minister to Greece, notably to the port of Piraeus. This Chinese envoy signed more than a dozen important economic cooperation deals, including shipping and shipbuilding, telecom and container ports. The Deputy Greek Finance Minister, Theodoros Pangalos, was quoted as saying, "The Chinese want a gateway into Europe. They are not like these Wall Street blankety blanks, pushing financial investments of paper." Usually blankety blanks means it's swear words. They censor it from swearing, so it's like shitty shits or something. The Chinese deal in real things in merchandise, and they will help the real economy of Greece. The emphasis on the production of tangible physical commodities by the Chinese, in contrast to Wall Street's reliance on a mass of toxic and kited derivatives, points to the real basis of Chinese economic ascendancy. If the Chinese are wise, they will not go overboard with term agreed, but rather be ready for generous concessions.
Hello?
Hello. we got somebody on the show. Woo!
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. It's so stupid.
Yeah. You're like cut off for half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know, I don't know.
How long could you pick up the stream and all that though?
No, I couldn't even pick up the stream or nothing. Just it didn't do nothing whatsoever. But hopefully it's going to stay. If I'm cut off,
Lenny Bruce is recording.
It's not personal, but my computer messed up. I don't know why. So where are we now?
I was reading an article by Webster Tarpley. It was all to do with the economy. The headline is "China buys euros as fear world depression." Jumpy world, really, all about different economic situations through the tradings on the currencies and stuff like that. What the politicians and all those market people, politicians involved in the markets are saying. Yeah,
but I read about it too. That it's China and Germany who are now in bed together.
Yeah.
And they're trading with each other and all this and all that. So what was it called? Germany is actually becoming a really powerful country. Like I personally think like the Americans used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
America,
They're called it the Third Reich now. In Germany, I read the German newspaper.
Well, they haven't given up on the Third Reich. Well, Hitler said it was going to house in Iran, so yeah.
Now it would be the Fourth Reich now.
Oh, Fourth Reich?
No, I think that. Well, if they're saying it's the Third Reich, it would make more sense because Hitler said it was going to last 1,000 years.
The Third Reich was Hitler, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you might. No?
So I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to get around it because like just means like rain, doesn't it? And
Right.
it means rain of the sort of like the mentality rather than the actual individual. Because
so
obviously
we're still in the Third Reich, is what you're telling me. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
basically,
I know it all connects between Operation Paperclip and everything. I know it, Von Braun and we got everybody from Germany and everything. I understand that.
Yeah.
So it's put on all these years. Okay, I got you.
Okay.
What do you think? Is the dollar gonna crash in the States or not?
I heard, it's only Jeff Friends, but I heard off his show that the dollar isn't going to crash totally. They're not going to like disband it and replace it. It's just going to cut. That he was saying that it's going to be devalued, but then somebody else was saying they might replace it with another thing. But everybody's just talking about devaluing it. They're just going to like massively devalue the dollar.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to wake up with tomorrow. And one day we're all going to wake up and our dollar's going to be worth times much, and everybody's going to be pissed. They want everybody to be pissed and take to the streets so they could install martial law.
Yeah.
So do you think they're going to replace it with Amero?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, that's what they were saying. They were saying they're not going to replace it with the Amero because the dollar's got like name value or rubbish like that. They're going to sort of like replace the current dollar with a massively devalued dollar. I don't know if the Americans would having to buy $500 for chewing gum or something.
I couldn't understand. What'd you call it? The what dollar?
They're going to just they're going to devalue the dollar massively. So you'll be buying chewing gum and it'll cost like $500 or something.
Right,
for a stick.
right. But they're saying it's still going to be the United States dollar. Though. This Federal Reserve note's not going to be anything different.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know. I don't know how Americans would feel. That seems to be what they're doing. Rather than introducing Amero and stuff.
The awake ones are fucking pissed, but I mean, everybody else is watching American Idol and fucking whatever else.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I'm
over here in Canada.
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah, okay. Will Hungary, Ireland, or budget austerity sink the euro? The Anglo-Americans are still beside themselves with rage and consternation over the fact that the national attack on the euro has not worked. But since mid-August, the euro has fallen from $1.30 to about $1.26, or thereabouts. Part of this is due to the decline of the New York stock market. Given the standard dollar-Dow trade-off, another negative factor for the euro is doubtless the cruel and stupid deflationary policies introduced many euro movements in an attempt to ward off speculative attacks. In a depression, government spending is the main thing that supports the entire economy. So cutting the government budget is a recipe for economic disaster. Some EU countries are now being reminded. Another factor is simply in the month of August, when Catholic Europe, including France, Italy, Spain and Bavaria, tends to shut down. When will the next panic break out? The world is now in a time of mixed signals and cross currents. The force of depression in the form of 1.5 quadrillion of toxic and kited derivatives are most emphatically still lurking, and since they have not been shredded, cancelled, deleted, outlawed or abrogated, they will soon find a way to explode once again. Serious financial observers are now waiting to see whether the next currency or banking panic will come. Over the last day or two, there have been reports of heavy selling of the Hungarian forint, which is inside the EU but not part of Euroland. Late on August 24th, Standard & Poor's announced a major downgrade of Irish debt, switching to a negative outlook. If panic comes in Hungary or Ireland, then the euro could indeed go down. CNBC traders, in response to the question of how to make money off the crisis of the Hungarian currency, immediately replied that the way to do that was to short the stocks of Austrian banks who hold much Hungarian debt. From here, the crisis would move on to Germany, and soon the entire continent would be back in the soup. The British pound sterling also has massive vulnerabilities to being the next monetary unit to crash. But the most likely victim remains Wall Street itself. At a glance at the stock charts of Bank of America over the past 3 months shows what any technical analyst would regard as a very ugly picture. There are rumblings that Citibank may be heading towards liquidity trouble in September and October. So, for those who like to read the tea leaves, CNBC's Jim Cramer today responded to a question about Citigroup by emphatically declining stick with Citi and stick with Citigroup, he affirmed, remained his favourite speculation. For contrarians who have learned something over the past 2 years, this may already be enough to head for the hills. In any case, if the banking panic breaks out in New York, then the dollar may turn out to be the victim. Bernanke QE2 is last. Yeah. They're all just, it's just strange. It's all getting really surreal. Bernanke QE2 today also brought the publication of the August 10 minutes of the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee. These minutes reveal a serious split in the management committee of the U.S. financier oligarchy. Bernanke and his majority are afraid of deflation and want a new round of quantitative easing, already dubbed QE2 by the street. It's like, what did you call it? Queen Elizabeth II? That doesn't make sense. There is also a significant Austro-monetarist reactionary minority who regard inflation as the greater evil, and perhaps they're like sticking two fingers up, and to whom a deflationary crash would not be unwelcome. If you're already thinking a crash, they'd name it after the Queen. Say, oh, it's sunk. Oh, it's QE2's just sunk. Oh no. Yes, it's crap, just like you, Your Majesty. Oh. As libertarian rantings over many decades have made plain, these tensions may well be on display at the Federal Reserve's annual conference at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, at the end of this week. Another CNBC analyst has ventured to predict a ragged decline of the Dow to about 5,000 over the months ahead. If that begins to happen, then the danger of deflation will be enhanced, and in such a scenario, the dollar would actually tend to increase in value compared to other currencies. On the other hand, helicopter Ben Bernanke's trademark is his strategy. Is his strategy for flooding the system with bailouts and other liquidity if deflation looms. Bernanke is the captain of that shuffle known as the QE2. The one certainty is there is no recovery, and that the second wave of world economic depression dominates the world. So it ends on a positive note. Got a few wacky articles. Anybody found anything interesting in that time? It's worth Glenn Keeley. He always sends me emails and some of them a bit cryptic. There's a few words in his Fidelology Row. Robs Mother of Israel on Ocean's 11 points and stern. Judges 4. I think he's quoting from the Bible again. 6. One day, Barack, it's like Barack Obama, the son of Abinoam, was in Kadesh in Naphtali, and Deborah sent word for him to come and talk with her. When he arrived, she said, I have a message for you from the Lord God of Israel. You are to get together an army of 10 men from the Naphtali and Zebulun tribes and lead them to Mount Tabor. 7. The Lord will trick Sisera into coming out to fight you at the Kishon River. Sisera will be leading King Jabin's army as usual, and they will have their chariots, but the Lord has promised to help you defeat them. I'm not going unless you go, Barak told her. Number 8. All right, I'll go, she replied, but I'm warning you that the Lord is going to a woman defeat Sisera, and no one will honor you for winning the battle. Deborah and Barack Obama left for Kadesh. It's just called Barack. Where Barack gathered the troops from Zebulun and Naphtali, 10,000 soldiers gathered there, and Barack led them out from Kadesh. Deborah went too. At this time, this is almost like a nursery book. At this time, Heber of the Kenite clan was living near the village of Oak in Zarnanim. That's it, Zarnanim. Yeah. Not far from Kadesh, the Kenites were descendants of Bab, the father-in-law of Moses. Prince Charles reckons he's descended from Moses. But Heber had moved and set up his tents away from the rest of the clan. When Sisera learned that Barak had an army to Tabor, he called his troops together and got all 900 chariots ready. Then he led his army away from Harosheth HaGoyim. It's almost spelt like Goyim. Goiim. To the Kishon River. I thought there was something like 1,000 or something I mentioned earlier. Obviously lost a few, like a negative interest. Deborah shouted, Barak, it's time to attack Sisera, because today the Lord is going to defeat him. In fact, the Lord has already gone ahead to fight for you. So that obviously means somebody. There's a few cryptic keywords and stuff in there. Yeah, it's sort of nonsense, but I'm sure it means something to somebody.
What's that?
That Glenn Keely, he's the guy that Alan Watt copied a lot of his information from him.
Okay, Alan Watt copied his information from who?
This guy called Glenn Keely.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm subscribed to his mailing list, and I get these like weird sort of emails that are mainly in code. I understand some of them. I recognise the name. Obviously, I obviously recognised Deborah and the various other things in the thing. And Barack was obviously a reference to Barack Obama, and he's just like quoting from the Bible on that one. So it's obviously that would mean something to people who like read the Bible. Yeah.
All you need to know to figure out the message is by reading the Bible or whatever. That's the.
I think it's supposed to it's supposed to mean he sends out these generalised emails and they're supposed to mean things to various people, but it's a lot of those just like okay. Yeah, so there's going to be some fight. Right? He's implying that Barack.
One thing told a different way. Oh, go ahead. Was he
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's mnemonics or whatever they call it. Yeah, subliminal messaging and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Barack thing, I think he's saying that he's going to do something or other, basically. And he involves, Deborah is involved somehow, and there's a few other people involved. I've got a shocking story about Gardasil, but I can't bother reading that one yet. I'll just see if there's anything more interesting. Kenya celebrates new constitution. Okay, great. I'm sure it's really lovely. France chided for Roma expulsions. Congo killings may be genocide. Oh, nails removed from abused maid. So, I got the article now.
What is it?
So, to read, Ziggy was reading it out earlier. I'll just post a link to it. I mean, I can repeat it. It's, okay, I might as well. It seems to be quite a short article. Nails removed from tortured Sri Lankan maid. Doctors have removed 13 nails and 5 needles from a Sri Lankan housemaid who said her employer in Saudi Arabia hammered them into her body. LP Ariyawathi, 49, told staff at Kambarupitiya Hospital employer inflicted the injuries as a punishment. X-rays showed that there were 24 nails and needles in her body. Doctors said those remaining inside her body posed no immediate threat to her life. The nails are up to 2 inches long, a hospital official said. The surgery is successful and she is recovering now, Dr. Seth Singh said, according to news agency Associated Press. Ms. Riyawathi, a mother of 3, underwent a 3-hour procedure. Doctors said they would carry out further surgery to remove the remaining number nails. Miss Ariyawathi travelled to Saudi Arabia in March to become a housemaid. Last week she flew back to Sri Lanka and was admitted to hospital in the south of the island, where she told doctors she had undergone abuse for more than a month. The doctors found 24 metal pieces in her legs and hands. She could not sit down or walk properly, doctors said. They said Miss Ariyawathi was deeply traumatized and unable to give full details of her experience. Meanwhile, Sri Lankan authorities have launched an investigation. We have launched a strong protest with the Saudi government through the External Affairs Minister, but there has been no response yet. Kingsley Ranawaka, chairman of Bureau for Foreign Employment, told the BBC around 1.8 million Sri Lankans are employed abroad, 70% of whom are women. Most work as housemaids in the Middle East, while smaller numbers work in Singapore and Hong Kong. That's the end of the article. Yeah, because Ziggy started reading out the article and then she got cut off, so I was just completing it from earlier.
So what else is going on? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something to talk about here.
Yeah, I'm just browsing. Okay. I found the article. Oh, it's just loading it now. Mexican massacre investigator found dead.
Mexican who?
There was obviously a massacre in Mexico, and somebody went to investigate it, and then he's been found dead.
Huh.
Body of official dumped beside road near scene of killing of 72 Central and South American migrants in Tamaulipas. The body of an official investigating the massacre of 72 Central South American migrants was killed in a ranch in northeastern Mexican state of Tamaulipas was found today. Dumped beside a nearby road alongside another unidentified victim, Maggotaur. Earlier, 2 cars exploded outside the studios of the national TV network Televisa, like Television Visa, the ISA, in the state capital, Ciudad Victoria. There were no casualties, but the blasts added to the growing sense of fear in the aftermath of the worst single act of violence in the country's raging drug wars. Meanwhile, investigators under armed guard continued the process of identifying the victims, with 20 named by midday on Friday, local officials said. The migrants, 14 of them women from at least 4 countries, including Honduras, El Salvador, Brazil, and Ecuador. They were found bound and blindfolded by the wall of a barn after Navy personnel stormed the ranch on Tuesday. Massacre was discovered. An Ecuadorian migrant who had been left with a neck wound escaped. Louis Freddy Laila Palmavilla, 18, found his way to the Navy road checkpoint. The migrants had been kidnapped by men who identified themselves as belonging to the Zetas, one of the cars fighting for supremacy in the state. He began after police offers to work for the Carter, interviewed at home in a remote Andean village by Ecuadorian TV. Lala's family said he had 2 months ago after paying $15,000, £9,000, to a people smuggler to organise a trip. I told him not to go, but he went, said one of his 7 brothers, Louis Alfredo. His then pregnant wife, Maria, said she had received a call a few weeks ago from Guatemala, indicating all that was well. Indicating that all was well, I think it means. The Ecuadorian government has complained that the survivor's security had been put at risk by the publication of his identity around the world. Mexican newspapers said he has been transferred from hospital to a naval base. His family in Ecuador was put under police protection. The massacre has focused attention on the vulnerability of US-bound economic migrants as they cross Mexico, a situation long denounced by activists, but largely ignored by the Mexican government until now. Since at least 2008, organised crime groups, particularly the Zetas, have played on migrants, particularly from Central America. Copycat groups might also be using the name of the infamously violent cartel to terrify their victims. I'm sure Zetas is one of the letters in the Greek alphabet. A report published in 2009 by Mexico's National Commission of Human Rights estimated that more than 1,600 migrants were kidnapped every month. There was also the middle name of Catherine Zeta-Jones. Isn't she married to, is it Michael Douglas? It's the old one, the Douglas family anyway, the one in the wheelchair. She was married to him. And she's Welsh as well. Typically, the aim has been to force relatives in the US to pay a ransom. Activists have also documented many complicity within authorities. Many published in El Universal newspaper this week. A Salvadorian identified as Marisolina, described being forced to cook and clean for kidnappers as other migrants disappeared if they could not raise the ransom. They kept the ones they couldn't pay tied up in a room, waiting to be killed. She said, I would give them food in the morning, the next day they wouldn't be there, and new ones would be in their place. I got an email from Jonathan Gray. He's like his suck. He says, John, 2012 destruction cycle. Well, that's quite boring. Oh, surely you know this one. Will everything end in 2012? Is there evidence of a cycle of cataclysmic events? If so, what will the next event be? Cycles of destruction throughout history. Rubbish. Nah, it's going to go on for like two years. That's all boring anyway. I mean, 2012 is just like the end of like one cycle in the main calendar, so he's going to sort of go on for ages and then spin it around, saying, "Oh, it's just like the beginning of one thing." Days. Got that one. EU rebukes Israel for convicting Palestinian protester. Israel has called Lady Ashton's interference. The European Union has criticised Israel for convicting an organiser of weekly Palestinian protests against the West Bank separation barrier. EU Foreign Policy Chief Catherine Ashton said she was deeply concerned about Abdullah Abu Rameh, who now faces several years in prison. She said he was a human rights defender committed to non-violent protest. Israel's foreign ministry described her statement as highly improper. Illegitimate right, it's a headline. It says, jailed since December, Abdullah Abu Rameh was convicted by a military court on Tuesday of inciting protests in the West Bank village of Bilin and participating in a protest without a legal permit. Lady Ashton expressed deep concern that the possible imprisonment of Mr. Abu Rameh is intended to prevent him and other Palestinians from exercising their legitimate right to protest against the existence of the separation barriers in a non-violent manner, her office said. Okay. She speaks for her office, obviously. The EU considers the use of the barrier where it is built on Palestinian lands to be illegal, it quoted her saying in a statement. Her statement drew a sharp rebuke from the Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesman, Yigal Palmor. He said that any interference with a transparent legal procedure is highly improper. Sentencing is scheduled for this month, after which Abu Rameh, a 39-year-old school teacher, will appeal the conviction, his lawyer had said. Has anybody got anything they want to read out for a few minutes?
No, I'm here again, but I dare not even start speaking, otherwise I'm going to get cut off.
Yeah.
So, no, not really. I'm just reading about this, this solar, they're predicting there's going to be a massive solar storm to hit the Earth in 2012 with the force of 100 m's. What do you think about that?
Can I go on this? This is something I've been thinking about lately. I have a theory. Because this is coming out of NASA and everything else. I have a feeling that this is going to be like the flag, the big culling, where they're going to pretend it's solar flares and actually fucking, and think about it. What all those things being built for? The DUMBs. I don't know. To me, that's my feeling. I don't know about that.
Well, I'm just reading about it. So, I just came across this article. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they were saying that wasn't it a couple of weeks ago? There's going to be a big solar storm. If some electricity or something, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Just that it would take out the whole electric grid. But I also was hearing about solar flares. Solar flares supposed to be in 2012. Which are, would make sense if that's what they were calling them, and then they actually, did fucking, did nuke us or whatever.
Right.
That's just my opinion. But I don't know.
Well,
and then after that, while World War III is already going on or whatever. I don't know, but that seems like that might be the official into the New World Order. After that, everyone's going to be tired. Everyone's going to have no food. Everyone's going to be pissed off. So that's when they, oh, come over here. We'll give you food. We'll give you this and that. But you give up your house. You give up everything else. You take the chip.
Yeah. But are you ready to? Have you already stocked up on food or anything like that, or you still?
I'm working on it. I do have enough water right now. I do have enough water. I'm a fat guy, so the food thing I can last a little while with, but no, I am stocking up on some food though. I definitely have water though now.
And don't call yourself a fat guy. You know what I mean?
Well, why not? It's
yeah, but it doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're gonna last longer.
I'm not one of these sloppy fat guys. I got some muscle underneath, so it's all good.
Yeah.
No shame in my game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But have you got gas so you can grow on? Or
what's that? Yes, I do. Actually, I got a tomato garden and basil and stuff like that too. My phone's gonna cut out. I'm gonna call back from my cell phone in a minute though. But
okay.
When it cuts out, I'll just call back in. Yeah, no, I have a garden and everything, and the thing I really want to get is some kind of water purification system, because I think they're gonna start fucking with the water even worse too.
Well, actually, before you cut off, if you go on to the Inform website, they're actually giving the water system away. If you donate it all depends how many dollars every time they put you in. They just put your name down, and then they put it in a big bucket, and then whoever gets pulled out on the end of the month. In November, Thanksgiving Day, I believe, and maybe you can win that. If you try that. Is the Berkeley one the metal one? Yeah, has gone. Yeah, I think he's gone.
Might have.
I think he's gone. He's gonna call. So.
Yeah, because they're cool about the Mexican massacre. That was significant in the number 72, which is the it's the internal angles on the pentagram. 72 times 5 is 60. The pentagram for Usenism and all that sort of thing. It's a 5-pointed star. The inverted 5-pointed star is your status symbol of Satanism. So that's why I have 72 people murdered on that one. I mean, sometimes I thought I'd leave that out because I thought it was sort of quite obvious, because there's certain numbers that they always use. On this one, there's 33 miners trapped, and 33 is like more obviously Masonic. I'll start reading this one out.
I really would like to go and get into this number thing, because to me it's quite amazing. Sometimes I listen to Spaceman, not sometimes, and he is totally amazing with numbers. I mean, that totally blows me away. But I never really, I like the way they put, even like you put the numbers together, and it's quite amazing what you get. Because can you tell me then, I know I don't want to take over your show,
carry on.
I always see the number 11.
Okay.
When I look at my clock and I put the numbers together, it's always 11.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Well, I can give you Spaceman's interpretation, and I can give you my one afterwards. Spaceman will say 11 is the Antichrist. 11 is also that's his one. It's also the Twin Towers, the two pillars. But to me, 11 is also imprisonment as well, symbol for imprisonment. Because it's like in prison you have the window out, and it's like traditionally anyway, you have the two vertical bars in a prison cell. And the dollar symbol, S is for snake or serpent, and then you got the two vertical bars that imprison the serpent.
Okay.
So and apparently America also translates as land of the serpent. Oh, we got cooler. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 11. Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah. 11
get your caller anyway. Get your caller. Get your caller. I think that's him back. Call back. Hello, caller.
Yeah, I'm back. It's Justin. How you doing?
Hi, Justin. Did you hear? Sorry, Maggot. Did you hear what I said about the Berkeley water filtering system on Inform Radio?
Right after that, yeah, it cut out right after that.
Yeah, in radio. Yeah, Inform Radio is doing donate like $5 to Inform Radio, and on the I believe it's Thanksgiving Day, the draw, not a draw, but it's not like a raffle or nothing. But your name will go into a box, and whoever will be drawn out can get this big Berkeley the filter system, the silver one.
Yep.
So maybe you want to.
I definitely will at some point. I'll definitely have some friends.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'm not rich for money, but I got a couple bucks somewhere here and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely worth applying for. It's just,
Yeah,
it's worth got now.
Yeah, I think it's about. Is it $240 or $285 or something, or even more? I don't know. I mean, but I'm not prepared anyway. I have to pick apples. So I hardly got any food now. Never mind when that all hits off.
Oh yeah, food, but it's all rotting away. Yeah.
Hopefully you got something to barter.
Well, only myself.
Okay.
You're gonna sell yourself. Would you get much though? Would you get much? Seriously?
Not really. No. I think they probably will pay me to go away.
They give you a peanut.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to tell you really, and somebody can figure this one out, right? I had to go to court today, right, for my son, because he's under a sexual assault charge. And, anyway, this is now going on now for 2 years. So we went to court, and the victim didn't turn up, right? This is the second time the victim did not turn up. And the judge was going to dismiss the charges. And but before that, she said, "Okay, I'm going to give her to 11:30 to arrive at the courts." So 11 came. The judge called us back in and said, "Obviously, she's not going to turn up." But then the two police officers left, and then she said, the judge says, "Okay, I'm going to give her to 11:30, and that's my limit. And then I will dismiss the case because this is not going anywhere." 10 minutes before 11:30 came. That young girl turned up, laughing in court. She was laughing, and I mean, I don't know why the judge didn't reprimanded her. And then she said, "Oh well, now we have to put off the case now to October." I mean, my son just burst into tears.
No, that's right. What was that? Some kind of underage thing or something like that? Or?
Well, because she came on from a long way, but no, the police got her. The police got her just there in time, before they threw it up.
Okay, but the case in general now, it's just something consensual, and she's trying to say that, you know what I mean? It's just because of the age or whatever. Like, what is the whole base behind the charges?
Well, the charges, they got no evidence. It is a false. I mean, she's already been called out a liar 3 times in court. Her story doesn't add up. But the last time we went, she was under cross-examination, and it got so heated apparently in the courtroom. I wasn't there because I'm a witness to something, I don't know what. And she ran out of the courtroom and delayed the court hearing for another 20 minutes. And then the policeman, the police officer then, accused the people who are in the court of laughing. And then the court case again was adjourned to today. And today it was supposed to be finished, and she failed to turn up on time, but then again delayed it because, it's just ridiculous. 2 years now.
Yeah, that's the one.
Through these 2 years, my son he was 14 when he was charged. He's going to be turning 16 on the 3rd of September. Through that, about 8 weeks ago, he actually was found hanging. He couldn't take it anymore. He tried to hang himself.
Wow.
Because he's been pointed, he actually, it's a rumor mill. The rumor mill is saying, Sorry?
Of course. And then afterwards, you know, what's terrible too is if he's going to do something like that, he's going to be branded for the rest of his life. He's going to have to register as a sex offender and everything else, and that's that's fucking terrible for a 14-year-old kid or a 16-year-old kid. How, you know, for that to happen for some, you know, from some girl who lies. It happens all the time, you know.
Yeah, it's not good. You know, it's very bad. I mean, you men really have to be careful. You know, men and young boys.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, yeah,
they have.
I know people that have it too. I know a couple of people who are guilty of it. So I mean, they should fucking rot in hell. But the ones I do know a few that were guilty too. So I have seen this, you know, myself. So, but yeah,
It can destroy lives. Totally destroys lives.
Yeah, over one lie, maybe because the girl doesn't want to look like a whore or something, or she, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, so she wants to fuck somebody else's life up, or her father wants to push it. Who knows? You know, not embarrassing. You know what I mean. So whatever the case may be, it sounds like your son's getting jerked around, and I hope everything works out. But
yeah, so do I. Anyway, I just wanted to tell because Becca wanted to know what went on in court. So you know, it's easier for me to talk about it than just write it down. You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you got another 6 minutes on your show, so carry on. Thank you.
Technically, it's a Crow show, but never mind. Yeah, okay. Chilean miners, sweaty and unshaven Chilean miners give hope to families in video. Okay. Oh yeah. It's got a 33 and a 45 on it as well. Men send messages of love and gratitude in grainy 45 minutes film, which shows them optimistic and healthy. Stripped to their waists and sweating in the heat, unshaven, scrawny and filthy, but all it seemed optimistic and hearty. The first video footage of the 33 trapped Chilean miners gave hope today to their families waiting above ground. I mean, if you remember, record players could either play at 33 RPM, or whatever it was, or 45.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's the significance of 33s and 45s hit me before I knew about the Masonic initiation and, you know, 33 degrees. 45 is half of 90. 90 is a cardinal. Cardinal is, there's 4 cardinals to a circle. It's north, south, east, west, and it's also related to the Wizard of Oz. Because you got like the 4 witches of the north, east, southwest. But apart from that, I'm not sure what the 45 is so significant for. I know the Octagon's important anyway. But anyway, yeah. In the haunting 45-minute video released on Thursday night, the miners send messages of love against the backdrop of tunnels and caverns that have entombed them since the cave-in on 5th of August. So it's 22 days now. At the entrance of the San Jose mine, or San Jose mine, where family members have set up camp. The atmosphere is jubilant like Jupiter. Ruth Contreras, whose son Carlos Bravo is one of the trapped men, said, "He's skinny, bearded, and it was painful to see him with his head hanging down, but I am so happy to see him alive." I mean, cut long story short, you'll see these people gradually dying. The grainy video was shot by the men with a camera sent through a small relief shaft, which reached their emergency shelter on Sunday. A second tube for enriched oxygen and a third for video conferences are nearly complete, meaning the families will soon be able to hold daily chats. Maybe not, maybe I was wrong. In the footage, the men, many still wearing their helmets, take turns to address the camera, some cracking jokes, but all repeatedly thanking those involved in the rescue effort. The atmosphere is jubilant like Jupiter. Ruth Contreras, whose son Carlos Bravo is one of the trapped men, said, "He's skinny, bearded, and it was painful to see him with his head hanging down, but I am so happy to see him alive." I mean, cut long story short, you'll see these people gradually dying. The grainy video was shot by the men with a camera sent through a small relief shaft, which reached their emergency shelter on Sunday. A second tube for enriched oxygen and a third for video conferences are nearly complete, meaning the families will soon be able to hold daily chats. Maybe not, maybe I was wrong. In the footage, the men, many still wearing their helmets, take turns to address the camera, some cracking jokes, but all repeatedly thanking those involved in the rescue effort. They're gonna have to like pump liquid food or something in the end. Mario cat food. They'll be feeding them cat food and dog food. Mario Sepulvedra, the narrator, gives a guided tour of the area. I'm sure that was very impressive. He explains they have a room to stand and lie down. Points out the little cup to brush our teeth. Ugh! 30 men sharing one cup. One toothbrush as well, I expect. Ugh! And the place where they pray. This is horrible. It's gross. Just imagine they got one toothbrush between them all. And I don't know what they're using as tooth. I don't know knows what they're using for toothpaste. I hope it's brown or sticky. We have everything on us, he says.
That's
disgusting. I know. A scammer fixes on a table where dominoes have been laid out. Oh, yes, all the modern luxuries. He says, "This is where we entertain ourselves, where we play cards. We meet here every day. We have assemblies here every day, so that all of this we make are based on the thoughts of all 33. Okay, yeah, so they're aware of that number, I expect, as well. As the camera pans area, that's main way, two-finger salute. But in contrast to the euphoria when the men were first contacted a week ago, some lie on makeshift beds, too tired. Greetings to the family, says Esteban Rojas. Get us out of here soon. Please. I wonder how many times he said that. Another, Joni Barrios tells his wife, make sure the company pays my salary above ground. I don't know if you're ever going to see it, mate. Above ground family members in Camp Hope, in both commas, I think they gave it that name, dragged chairs from the mess hall and used the side of the tent as a screen on Thursday night. As the camera panned across the men's faces, they're giving us a lesson in survival, says Elizabeth Segovia, whose brother Dario is one of the trap men. But they look 1 minute to next. Okay.
I don't know.
The video gives a glimpse of the men's cavernous living quarters. I've only got about 4 paragraphs left, it's quite short. A 2 kilometres to stretch a tunnel, but it also gives an insight into the extreme conditions they must endure in the weeks to come. At 1 minute, the video focuses on a thermometer reading 29.5 degrees centigrade, 85 Fahrenheit, and the sound of water running past the men's feet can be heard. And then we go into the next one.
They started off the middle class and ended up on welfare. They don't get no help here. R-I-P-H-A-R-P probably shook Katie, but they're gonna blame me and call me crazy and call me paranoid, cause I'm the kind of boy that is waiting for the day that they make their move. If you keep your mind fed, you got nothing to lose, because everything you've ever been told was a lie. TV programs be controlling your mind. Just open your eyes. I don't need no control in your mind. Just open your eyes. I don't need no control in your mind. Just open your eyes. I don't need no control in your mind. Just open your eyes. I don't